What's up, gang? Let's think about a painter. A painter who paints a portrait, masterpiece, master painter. If we were challenged to paint an exact portrait that the master painter has painted, it would probably be pretty much impossible for us to do so. I would say, yeah, pretty much impossible. With that in mind, if we think about our Heavenly Father, and then we think about Jesus. If we look at Jesus' life, His Heavenly Father painted the portrait with all the intricate pieces intertwined in His life every step of the way. To do so, if we go back to the portrait, and to paint a portrait, just a duplicate portrait, just like what the Master has painted, we could try to do it within our own ability and do it as best we could. And we would have an outcome. But to really do it like the Master has painted it, we'll have to have the Master's mind and the Master's heart and the Master's abilities to do so. Jesus did the will of Him who sent Him. So to do the works or paint the portrait of His life, He lived, this is the key, or many keys, let's say one of them, He lived according to the leadership of the Spirit of God to accomplish the works of God. A lot of people try to do the works of God in their own strength, which Jesus challenged the Pharisees back then. Their self-righteousness, doing things, good intentions, good moral convictions, but it's all according to the flesh. Jesus challenged it. The Bible tells us that the Spirit is contrary to the flesh contrary to the Spirit. They're not subject to one another, nor can they be. Then with a child, think of a child. A child cannot do that which, and I won't say a 2-year-old kid, cannot do that which what the loving parent can do. What the loving parent has in his mind and his heart, takes action upon, paints a picture, and the child is willed to live in that which is in the mind and the heart of the parent. Jesus lived within what was in the mind and the heart of His Father. The Bible tells us that He was the expressed image of His person. So and then Jesus said too, He said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So in every word, in every deed, in every friendship, in every foe that He had, in every mockery that He heard from people, in every good thing and every considered bad thing, it was within all of that that Jesus experienced by trusting and yielding to someone who was wiser and stronger than Him, so that the portrait, the masterpiece, could be painted for His life. Paul speaks about, as we live by the Spirit, let us walk according to the Spirit. He says the lusts of the flesh are evident, and he lists them off. Then he also says those who have crucified the flesh, these belong to Christ. So for any of us who are believers out there and we haven't crucified that flesh yet, and we're living, just say, with good intentions and good moral convictions according to self-reliant living, doing the supposed right thing to do, and living possibly in fear and anxiousness and what ifs of tomorrow, that's not the works of God. On earth as it is in heaven. With those words being said, there's no worry, there's no doubt. There's no anxiousness. There's no fear. Perfect love casts out fear. So, if you were to live from the ages of 20 to 80, that's 60 years, who is it, and you're living now, just say, who is it, and ask yourself this question, who is it that's painting the masterpiece of your life? You? Or someone who's wiser and stronger than you? I lived the other way for a long time. Well, to our Heavenly Father it wasn't a long time, but 25 years. 25 years of painting the picture of the life that I thought was mine to paint. I actually did it all with good intentions. But towards its end, and I say the end of living that way, which was all self-reliant living, all according to the lusts of the flesh that are evident, and I was a believer. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and there had to be another way about going about living everyday life than what I was doing. And the key to that was the fact that nobody ever taught me to live according to the Spirit. We live in the Spirit, and then we'll do the works of our Heavenly Father. The key to it all is letting Him to live in and through. And they say surrender, and I say I don't like the word surrender. And I said because in surrender there's defeat. But Paul wrote about it in Galatians and called it liberty. The freedom that there is in the Spirit, because within the freedom comes the wisdom, and with the wisdom comes the power, and with the power comes the purpose, and with the purpose come the works. And no flesh will glory in our Father's sight. But He has equipped us to hear Him. He has equipped us to be connected to Him because He has given us of His Spirit. And when our spirit bears witness with His Spirit, we cry out, Abba, Father. Within this, that same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is the Spirit that lives inside of us. He wrote to Timothy and said, you've been given a spirit of power and of love and a sound mind. With all of that equipping that our Heavenly Father has given to us, you would think that He's trying to get our attention and say, hey, kids, I got a plan. I got a masterpiece I want to paint. Watch this. Big pictures for sure. The 20 to 80 year old life, 20 to 80 year old, 60 years of life. But think about just the daily life. Jesus lived His everyday life according to the leadership of the Spirit of God. The Bible tells us that those who are led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. So, for each of us, we can take an inventory. And we can say, am I led by the Spirit? Do I run around with fear and anxiousness and worry and doubt and looking to get what I want, when I want it, how I want it, how I can get it, and even doing a lot of it, some of it, or a lot of it, even living with good intentions and moral convictions and not be self-centered and selfish, but still you trust yourself more and you yield to yourself more and you trust and yield to that belief and that doubt and that fear and the what ifs of tomorrow more than you do than Him who is wiser and stronger than you, who is looking to paint a masterpiece within every step of every second of every day, with every friend, every foe, every meal, every divine appointment throughout each and every day. It's amazing how much He wants to be part of the details of our life, and He wants to live in and through us. It's literally God in a you suit, Christ in you, the hope of glory. That's what He's taught me over the years. I encourage you, if you're painting your own masterpiece as a believer, or you're painting your own masterpiece and you're not a believer, I encourage you, leave it behind. Deny yourself, because He said if any man was to follow me, He said he must deny himself. And to deny yourself, you're going to have to not trust yourself. You can't trust your feelings, you can't trust your emotions, and you can't trust the fears and the doubts and the anxiousness and the what ifs of tomorrow and make moves upon them. All of that's apart from faith, and it is sin. See it for what it is, but our Heavenly Father has equipped us so that we can live according to the Spirit. Deny all the fear and the doubt and every other attribute of the sinful nature of Adam. Deny its dominion over you. Trust in someone who is wiser and stronger than you. Yield to His wisdom, His leadership, and His strength. And I guarantee you on a daily basis, He will paint a masterpiece for you to walk into, experience. And then day by day by day by day, and 60 years later, you will have A picture perfect portrait painted by the Master himself, because you will have lived every day of your life living according to the leadership of the Spirit of God. And we'll be back.